So like freshman year, it was more, I would say it was more intense just because I didn't know the rigor of my classes back then. So I didn't really know like what studying was or like what I really needed to do to prepare myself. But now it's more like, okay, I have these assignments to do. I don't know how to do this. I don't understand this. So I just have to study all of this. But back in the day, it was like, I kind of understand, but I don't really know what I don't understand. So, you know, it was one of those things like, it was a little messy. But yeah, now it's like studying has become a lot more focused. So I think I use my time a little more efficiently. We arrive at 7:05, so the traffic isn't that bad. We get out of the car, we go into school, and from like the 7:05 time to like 7:20 when like school hasn't started yet, I'll either practice or I'll do homework outside the band hall or study or review.
Do you have any big test or quiz today?
Yeah, I have to make up a quiz after school, actually.
What class?
For calculus.
Is it nerve-wracking?
A little bit because, I don't know, this unit is like, it's either like you get it or you don't. I don't know if I get it.
The bell rings. I go to econ right now, and I have it with Miss Bambico.
When we talk about the labor force is here, this band, and this band. And if this inner circle is employed, then that means here is where we're going to show our unemployed.
Okay, so it's saying men are getting drafted, so they're going into the working age population, right? Yeah. But the same.
It helps you like visualize kind of the concept more instead of just telling you like the formula for GDP or like just the definition, and you kind of understand like, oh, what counts as unemployment and what doesn't.
No, I think your question was though, if it's moving to part-time, is it opening up any more jobs?
No, what that is saying is that your job went from a full-time job to a part-time job.
Okay.
It was really nice to do that activity, and I had a partner, so that was good too.
I feel like these people wouldn't even like exist.
So you're gonna have more people in the general population. So probably unemployment's gonna go down.
They're no longer what?
Oh, yeah, unemployment will go down.
All of your formulas should be up here. Doesn't it tell you how to calculate the labor force and inflation rate?
There we go.
Second period, I'll go to band. We're in concert season right now. Sometimes it's like that. Just because I'm in percussion, there's just different instruments back there, and depending on which part you get, you either play a lot in some areas or you don't play at all in some areas. So we play the back chunk where I like don't play at all. So concert season, I don't get to play a lot, but I love marching season. That's the best because you're constantly playing in rehearsal with like the same people every day, working on the same music. You audition for the instrument that you played, so you know, you're kind of like either really good at it or you're trying to get better at that one instrument. You kind of have to prioritize band in a way because it's like a team sport. You have to like practice your music, you have to like learn the steps, or you have to like be able to play with the right technique or something, or else like it won't work without you. Like every person is important, so you have to be able to keep up. And if you can't keep up, it's like, well, we can't have that because we need you. Definitely the directors have helped, like especially the percussion director, Mr. Wojciech. He isn't focused on scores, but he's focused on like the progress and just like development. Like, you know, are you a good person? Are you good, like, do you have good attitude in rehearsal? Are you gonna be willing to put in work into it? Stuff like that. If you're just in band to have fun, you probably won't get as much out of it as someone who like will dedicate a lot of their time into band. Third period, I go to English with Mr. Tiller.
All right, look at chapter 14. If you notice, flip through it. It's real short.
Right now we're reading Beloved, which is actually a really good like fantasy fictional story.
All right, so your assignment. You're writing 2 paragraphs, not looking for something like, a terribly long, essay length body paragraph here, but a paragraph of 1 that just summarizes, summarizing what's happening in the chapter, okay, in chapter 14. And the second one, that's going to be the analytical one. That's going to be the analysis. What, as the reader, are you supposed to get from this chapter?
It's such a good novel. First of all, it's fiction, so it's already like kind of interesting because you're not just reading like someone writing about like a textbook or anything. It's interesting to see how like it plays out, and it's suspenseful to see how like each character interacts with Beloved and stuff like that. So it's like a mystery. It's like a fantasy book. So I really enjoy reading it.
That's so cringy.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes so lost. I have no idea what the author is saying. Without Mr. Tiller like explaining it, it's like, okay, yeah.
See you some sort of supernatural being.
It's those people every day. Like I'll always walk with them. They're friends that I've used to walk with too. Like I walked with them in freshman year, I walked with them like sophomore year, yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Fourth period, I have teacher aide for Miss Tarshahani. Originally, I was going to take a period off, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. Like, I'll just go and do the office aide thing. And it worked out into my schedule, so there I am, cutting papers, grading papers. I don't know so much if there's like merit, but like the continuous like brain dead work of just like doing the same thing over and over again. I don't know, something about it just, it's not bad. I think it's kind of satisfying, just like doing the same thing over, just kind of. And then after like an hour, you look up, it's like, oh, the time has passed. I understand the merit of it. I mean, a lot of people are like, wow, I would enjoy school much more if we just didn't have homework. But I think I get it. It's just like to help you remember like what you learned in class. Because it's like, you have 6 classes a day. There's no way you can remember something that you learned in first period when all you're thinking about for like the rest of the time is just like other classes and other things that you have to do. The classes that built up to the hard classes I'm taking now have really been a good support for like what I'm learning. So nothing that I'm learning is like super difficult because I didn't like try back then. So like I'm just building up on what I've already learned. So homework is like not hard. As long as I understand like the basic concepts and stuff like that, then it's not really difficult. I go to 5th period, which is calculus.
If we were to rotate it around the x-axis.
Probably my favorite class right now because, I mean, it's not easy, but it's not like super duper hard. So like the challenge is there. I like math, so it's not that bad. It's not like terrifying, like I haven't given up yet.
So the height or thickness of the rectangle is referring to this distance here. So that's our change in x, which is also equivalent to dx.
Well, Ms. Gleason is a really good teacher, first of all, at teaching calculus. So like when you look at it, at first you don't understand anything, but then she like explains it and it's really nice. Calculus is one of my favorites just because it's not just lecture, I would say. Like sometimes it's like lecture and a few activities, or that you get to talk to the people around you and like explain or like debate on like, oh, well, I don't know how you got that answer, or I don't know how I got this answer. And it's stressful, but at the same time, it's like challenging. So you're not just sitting in there like, I'm gonna get an A. You're like sitting in there like, okay, I need to get an A.
Since it's symmetrical, you could just do one side and the other.
Fifth period is like my split lunch. I have D lunch, so I go to lunch like halfway through the class. Oh, I always get the lunch here. Yeah, I don't bring lunch. It's pretty decent. What do I eat? I usually eat the hamburgers from school. Yeah. I used to eat the pizza all the time, but that was a no-go after like the second year or something, yeah. And I sit with a lot of my friends from Calc. Like we'll just sit there and like that's pretty much the same spot we've all sat for like the whole entire year.
Yeah, I sit with Tyson. He did it like that.
I mean, either we all like do homework at that table or we all just like go on our phones and we don't even know what we do during lunch. After lunch, I go back to Calc. We finish the Calc period.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this section here, calculating the volume of rotation here, and then subtracting the volume of rotation from this section.
Oh, let's just do the first one. So it'd be
algebra, right?
Gosh, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Pi integral from 0 to 4.
Oh, wait.
Sixth period, I have physics C with Dr. Peterson. That's probably my hardest class.
The charge of plus 5 times 10 to the negative 12th coulombs were moved from point M first to point S and then to point R. Would the answer to E be different?
I prefer when he lectures just because I don't know how to do the worksheets, but I'll usually do them with a partner just to see, like, try to understand what was going on. You have a stronger gradient. He can only teach you so much concepts before you have to go apply it. It's not that bad, but Dr. P is a really fun teacher.
So we can approximate this, right, as my change in voltage is approximately.
So I feel like senioritis is like that moment where you realize some things in high school just don't matter to you anymore. Like it legitimately, like if you feel like you don't need to write an essay a particular way, you probably won't because maybe in college you don't need to do that. So it's like, oh, I don't need to do this. It's not important to me. It's not important to my future. So I'm just not going to do it. And it kind of can be interpreted as laziness because, I mean, in a way it is. Like, it is like, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. Like, I'm in a room with, like, freshmen. Like, what's the point, you know? In a way, I guess it could help you focus on your priorities because you're like, I don't need to do this. But right now, I should probably do this scholarship. Or I should probably review this for, like, my career in the future. So it could be bad for you. It's detrimental for you, like, in some academic ways. But in some, like, I guess, like, looking forward ways, you're just like, okay, like this is more important to me right now. Like maybe hanging out with friends is more important to you than like doing a review. So, you know, it kind of depends.
This one's either if there are no pre-charges, if so.
After sixth period, I get out of school. I don't have a seventh period. So usually after that, I'll go practice in the band hall. I play marimba for my solo and I play vibraphone for my ensemble. I was practicing for the UIL solo contest. We all have to play like a solo composition. I'm playing it on marimba, and it's actually a 5-octave marimba, so it's like 5, like you can play 5 scales before you get to the very end. So my solo is more like, you have space to move, but you don't have to use all of that space. So mine doesn't like go all the way from the left to the right of the instrument. It's just kind of like in the middle. You just find solos that you like, and then if your lesson teacher approves, they'll like help you like go along with it. But it's usually you just trying to learn the notes and then like trying to perfect like the rhythms and the dynamics and stuff like that. That quiz, I was supposed to take it last Friday, but I was absent. It was like over velocity graphs and integrating for like, I don't even know, like these weird shapes or whatever. It was okay. I mean, I hope it was okay. I like did all of it, so I was like, at least I could do it and like read the problem and be like, oh, okay, I know what to do. And I'm not just sitting there. First, I think it's like my environment. Like my dad really wants me to do well in school, and he's always like, education is really important. Like you have to do well, you have to get a good job, you know, you have to care for your future basically. And then it's a bit of like a perfectionist tendency, like I have to like do this well or else like, you know, it looks bad, or like it's kind of like I don't want to disappoint other people by like doing horribly one time. So I want to keep that standard high. And then I guess the third part is just like learning really isn't like bad, like it's actually fun. So like if you're doing well and you're learning what you need to do, you're reviewing, then you know you'll do well in your class and you'll have a good GPA. So it's not like I have like a set GPA that I'm trying to reach, like, oh, I want this GPA. It's just like, okay, I did well on this test. Okay, next thing, like what are we learning next? And it's like every test is just like either do well or you do bad. So yeah, it kind of reflects that. Oh, to the freshmen, man, challenge yourself, but don't stress yourself out too much, I guess. Just sleep at least every other day, like something like that, I don't know.